All right, guys. So welcome to Latino Vegano, Latin Vegan. This is episode number what? I don't know even. I forgot what episode this is. I think this is number 68 or something around those lines. But anyway, I'm so excited today because I have an amazing guest with me. She was born and raised in Kazakhstan, right? Went to university to become a teacher of Russian language and literature. At the age of 21, she borrowed money and came to the US as a travel opportunity arrived. We got to talk a little bit about that. How's that even happen? Worked two full-time jobs straight for 2 years, realizing that there was more opportunities for her in this country, and she decided to stay in the US. She currently resides in Jersey. Um, she met her boyfriend, who was a 10-year vegan at that time. And guess what? He converted her. He transformed and brought her to the V side. Can you guys believe that? So I'm excited to introduce my friend Svetlana.
latinoyvegano.com.
And yeah, Svet, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, Roger, for this such a great introduction. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and you even forgot about the number of your podcast.
I know,
I guess
right?
you were excited about this.
Yeah, I'm excited because we've been talking for a little bit now,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of things in common when it comes to like immigration and coming to this country, and that's one of the topics that I wanted to touch base with you. Maybe our stories inspire other people that are trying to move, migrate, or leave their current situation, current country, and go somewhere else. Doesn't have to be the U.S. We decided to come here, but it can apply to any other country in the world. So tell us a little bit about how that story happened, why, and why the U.S. And yeah, let's start from there, from the beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yeah,
Okay. I think it is actually a very interesting story because
yeah,
y- a lot of people know what Peace Corps is, and we had volunteers coming visiting our country
hmm
from America. And my family was very lucky actually to host one of the volunteers at our house. And she was teaching in my school. Actually, she was teaching smaller kids English classes, and she was teaching them American games and so on. And then, well, I was actually in high school then,
hmm
and we had a contract that she wasn't supposed to teach me English. I was supposed to teach her Russian because she was
hmm
there. She needed to understand us, right?
hmm
And by teaching her, I think it inspired me to wanted to teach.
mm
And my very last years in high school, obviously my very last like months probably, I was still debating, changing my mind, thinking what to do, who I want to be. And then I thought, okay, well, this is the opportunity for me to teach Russian language.
mm.
And I was pretty good at it. Right now, I'm probably mixing up a lot of things, but I was really good at it. Yes. And I went to college for about 3 years. I was studying, and then
Yeah.
when I got an invitation from her, from the volunteer, she already went back to America, but we kept in touch, obviously. And yes, I got an invitation from her to come visit in the summer, and I was coming through this program that called Work and Travel. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I think they do. It's in a lot of countries, very popular program for students. So I came here, yes, and I borrowed money because we didn't have a lot of money. So I asked my mom's boss for, I believe it was, I don't know, I want to say 2000 or something like that. Well,
Yeah.
because I needed the tickets, I needed to get a visa, right? And I
Right.
needed some pocket money as well. And I was
Right.
like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna work, and I'll return it. And yeah, I was very motivated to come here. I had a vision, and while she was visiting us, she told me about the book Secret.
Mm. The secret.
And the Secret,
Are you serious?
yes. And I read the book. She gave me in English, but I couldn't understand it.
Right.
But I found it in Russian, and I read it, and I made a board on the wall
So
in
you
my
have a
room.
vision board.
I had a vision board, yes.
That's
And
crazy.
I put New York City there, the two twins
So
buildings
yeah,
back then, right? That's all we had in the magazine. Although I think the yes, it was already not there, obviously. Um, and yeah, I had a lot of things on my board, and I wrote myself an airline ticket to United States,
yeah,
and I had it in my wallet for some time. So yeah, I was probably the weirdest kid in high school because kids just wanted to hang out, to go out,
right,
and so
right.
on. And I was like, no, I want to study, and I just wanted to be in my bedroom, obviously, put a music on, and just stare at the board and envision myself being here. So yeah, that was my dream. And yeah, then I got the tickets, I got the visa, and I came here.
The rest
That's
is
how it
history.
happened. The rest is history. Yes, yes, it
Wow.
was a long way.
Wow. So that's an amazing story. And there's so many things that I want to touch base from that. First of all, I did not know you had a vision board and you read the book, The Secret. So that brings me to so many things that I wanted to talk to you because one is that um, I actually have a similar story. However, I just find out about the book, The Secret, not too long ago, right? Even though a lot of the concept from the book, I've been doing it for so many years, I just find out about the book, The Secret. And believe it or not, I have a vision board right in front of me that
Wow.
I bought a vision board and I haven't posted anything on the vision board yet. However, all the things that I have wants to put in my vision board, I have it written down already. So like I know
That's
what I want
amazing.
to put on the
Right.
board. I just haven't
Yeah.
posted pictures on it yet. And and there's so many other things that I can talk to you about this whole situation. But I didn't know you believe in that kind of stuff because a lot of people might think this stuff is crazy.
That's
But
what I thought. I always thought my friends thought that
yeah,
I was just the
yeah,
weird kid.
yeah,
And I was believing. I was just manifesting,
right,
manifesting the crap out of
right.
it.
Yeah,
That's how much I
the
wanted.
power is yeah, the imagination, the power of visualizations is people don't realize that when you visualize a lot of things, and those are the things that manifest. So you plant the seed on your brain, in your mind, and then you have that picture because that's how we think, and those things eventually are going to manifest. So if you're religious, you can believe that God's going to provide that for you. If you believe in the universe, you can say the universe will provide whatever it is that you believe in. That's what are going to manifest. Same thing is you plan negative thoughts, you're going to receive negative repercussions, negative feeling.
Exactly.
This is the same way with positive stuff because I don't want to take it too deep, but the point is that the brain itself or your mind subconscious doesn't know how to differentiate or doesn't know the difference between a positive and negative thought. So once you put all the information in it, it's gonna start growing you. So you
That
basically
makes so much sense.
yes, it does. And actually the reason why I tell you this because I'm studying this as I speak. Like this is a topic that I'm trying to get more knowledge into to understand myself a lot better and to help my clients a lot better. So this is one of the topics that I wanted to be more profound when I understand it. So this is one of the things that I've been reading lately. But I want to deviate back to the story, and it's interesting that you say that because one quick thing about me when I was in school, I always had the vision that I wanted to live in the U.S. So I always had that in my mind. Like, and even if you read my yearbook says something like, "I'm gonna be going to school in the U.S." Blah blah blah. So it has something like a little line on the bottom of the yearbook that talks about you. And I wouldn't even know if it was gonna be possible, but I was already telling myself that here's gonna where I want to be coming to school to. But
Mm.
in my story, in my journey, that did not happen. So I did not end up coming to school here in the US. However, I ended up living here. So the last 20 years of my life, it's been here. So I literally made it happen. So I had that dream, I had that fantasy, I had that vision, and I just did whatever it takes to make it happen. In my situation, it was that I had family members, so I was able to reach out to them. And I came to the US with $600, $600 in a one bag. That was all I got. And then I got in trouble, and I got in trouble, so I had to get $300 because I got myself in trouble. So I only get $300 left, and that's it. I used the $300 left to buy a plane ticket from New York, which I was actually where I got in. I was living in New York, and then from New York I moved to Texas, and I was hacking with no money, and I had to build myself up from since then. So
Yeah.
you can definitely relate to some of that story, right?
Yeah, I think Roger, I think we just dream about being in experience
Right,
American schools.
right.
You know, it's probably mostly because maybe of what they showed us in the
Of
movies.
course, of course.
Yes, because our schools are so much completely different, right?
Yes,
And I'm sure it's not really like that also here,
right.
like we saw it in the movies. And we just wanted it, but the we got out of it something anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me
Yeah.
segue now into okay, the vegan journey. How you mentioned in the intro, or I mentioned in the intro that your boyfriend got you into veganism. I myself also got inspired by someone to turn vegan, right? But then within that inspiration, I always took something from the initial person, and then I took off of my own self and created my own persona. How was your journey? Your boyfriend introduced you to vegan. So how was that introduction? So he said, "Hey, I'm vegan. You need to be vegan." How's that happen?
That's pretty much how it was. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We met at the restaurant. That was
Uh,
our very first time meeting each other, and we were sitting at the bar. He had a drink. He ordered me a drink, and then he ordered himself a dinner, and it
uh,
was like a vegetable, something like that for him, obviously. And I ordered at that time, I don't remember, salmon or tuna or something like
uh-huh.
that. And I looked at him, I kind of got a little bit weirded out
Right,
by
right.
man doesn't have meat on his plate.
There's no
It's kind of
way.
there's no way, like
Uh,
something wrong. I'm like, what's
right.
going on there? Yeah, do you want like half of my tuna? And yes, and he was like, no, I'm vegan. I was like, what's vegan? I
You're like, what is
I didn't
vegan?
even know. I
No
didn't know.
way.
No, no. I know there's people vegetarians who don't eat like
Right,
cheese, right?
right,
Um,
right, right,
or
right,
red meat. Yes. So I
right.
thought like, okay, it's probably part of the vegetarian, but maybe something a little bit extra.
Correct.
And when he told me, I was like, wow, I don't know how you do that. And he's an athlete, number one, and he also does martial arts. So he's very active. And if you look at him, you wouldn't think he's vegan. I mean, that's what like people who are not vegan obviously will think. For us
Right.
right now, it's normal, right? It's like
Yeah.
okay, this
Whatever. Yeah.
broccoli,
Like
this broccoli,
we
maybe.
expect that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And although he didn't know a lot of information, where to get like protein from and so on, so he wasn't completely vegan. I want to say he probably
Mm-hmm.
sometimes had fish, but
Mm-hmm.
never meat for 10 years or chicken, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started doing research, obviously, I right away started following all vegan people that I could find on social media, so I can follow and see what they eat,
Right.
what they're talking about, what they offer. Same thing was trying to order some books, educate myself. And then I took a course at eCornell, plant-based nutrition. So that was like so interesting for me to learn about it more. I was like, okay, he doesn't know much about it, so I have to know, I guess.
Mm.
Yes, and that's how it all started for me. Probably my first 6 months, I was still kind of here
Mm-hmm.
and there, maybe
Right.
eating eggs or something like that. And then one day I would just dropped it. I was like, I'm not eating it anymore. That's it. It's done for me. And Roger, a lot of vegan people who are going vegan, they are compassionate for animals,
Mm-hmm.
and I am compassionate for animals. But it probably will come out wrong if I say that, because growing up in a country where there's no really crop growing much, there's cattle. They growing cattle, and that's what we eat there. Meat is the main course,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So for me, I didn't have that connection when
Right.
I was there. I didn't have that connection with about animals, to be
Right.
honest. I think all of that started coming to me here now.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, and I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from because same way. I mean, coming from a Latin background, also, there's some African descendants in my roots, which is obvious. And but me the we is heavily on meat, like especially in the Spanish culture is super heavy on meat. And that connection doesn't really resonate with a lot of people. A lot of people say, hey, well, we're poor, we barely got anything to eat, what you want us to do? But if you think about it from the perspective that is you stay eating whole food, that's like the basic meals. Like rice is super cheap, beans is
Exactly.
super cheap. I mean, and we can continue on and on. And then, fruits again, same way. Now you can always grow your own food. You don't necessarily have to eat animal, but that might be a different topic of conversation. What I would like to ask you is, if you had to give someone an advice that's starting, veganism like today, where should they start?
They should start, I want to say, concentrate more on whole foods.
Mm,
Just trying to get it in all type of different grains, all type of different beans. Start trying that, because I know we are so lacking in eating
mm-hmm.
beans or different grains. We're just used to the like potato, meat, and broccoli. That's it, right? Kind of like the main meal for the people who eat meat. But yes, for them, I would say definitely start to simply take the meat away and
Right.
put some beans instead. And the ideas will come along. For me, I've been now 5 years vegan,
Good job.
and yes. But you know what? I'm not a chief. Like, I wish I can take cool pictures of my food, but my food is always looks terrible. I just want to start eating it. I'm like, why am I
Right.
even bothering taking pictures? But yes, that's, I think that would be my first advice, to replace it with different other options that are out there.
Sure. And but I think it's everything is an evolution in a progression, right? You say, I'm sure when you started 1 year ago, of I mean, you say you started 5 years ago, when you first started to now, it's a completely different way that you eat, because you got more knowledge, you got more information, you got more season, so you understand more, you know how to cook better and all that kind of stuff. So for me, the same way. Like, I mean, I started veganism, so what, 19, 20 years, whatever that time was, 20 years ago. I mean, of course, the way I was eating back then, it was nothing different to the way I eat it now. Of course, my goals were different as well. So I had different set of goals. Back then, it was just like, I just not eating animals. So whatever it is that I need to eat, I wasn't really too concerned about the health aspect. To this day, I'm a little bit more concerned about the health aspect because I'm in the fitness industry as well. But at the same time, is things change, right? And then you understand more, and then you evolve. Is the word that I like to use sometimes when I'm explaining people. So I agree with you when it comes to saying, hey, you try to get your food in, stay to the basic. You don't have to make it that complicated. Going vegan is not that difficult. It's not a rocket science. I mean, start eliminating things and whatnot. I think people stay more like, oh my god, if I don't have meat, I'm gonna die, because that's the mentality that most people have. So is the whole point here is just, hey, you're not gonna die if you don't eat
Hey,
meat.
we're alive. Here's 20 years, and here's 5 years.
You'll be completely fine, because there's a lot of people that have been thriving for so many years. There's no sign where we're stopping. We actually maintain it. One of the biggest things I get all the time, people like they don't believe my age. And I don't know if it's that credit to veganism or genes or whatever the case is, but the one thing that I can tell you is that I know a lot of vegans that they pretty maintain themselves in really good physical shape, and not necessarily from the health standpoint, but also I know ones that they look very good by the age. So that might be something related with the plant. So hey, you want to stay young, you want to find the fountain of youth, veganism might be something to try on, right?
Yes, no, absolutely. A lot of times, I get the compliment on skin, how it looks, right?
Yeah,
Skin changed too, really.
right.
It changed a lot. And I see younger girls, struggling with their skin, breakouts and so on. And that's my moment to talk to them about the vegan food, That's something I love. So
I
yes,
know.
no, absolutely. Whenever I get a chance, I'll just throw in something in there. Like they say, you don't need to. How do you find out if person is a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you about it. So
Exactly.
yes,
And so one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is having a vegan partner, because this seems to be a big issue for a lot of vegans. Usually always the female that is vegan and then try to convert the guy. You hardly find the opposite way, which is what happened in your case. Because most vegans, either female or male, they only probably try to date only vegans, right? My experience has been, I have both experience in both ways, right? Where I used to date non-vegans, and that conversion process not always works out my way, or it was a temporary conversion. They will only convert when they were with me. Once they were done with me, or I was not together anymore, it was the whole conversion went away. I would have preferred them to stay veganism instead of stay with me, but whatever. And so
Yes.
how's been that experience with you guys just both being vegan? And do you even see, do you see it any other way, like not, you still be non-vegan and being with a vegan boyfriend?
I don't think so. I think I missed the part in the very first question about how I became vegan when you asked me. And I just wanted to point out that he challenged me.
Mm,
He, I said to him, okay, well, what should I do? I want to try it. And he was like, well, stick to 6 months mark.
mm,
He said, you develop habit after 6 months. If
right.
you stay within that, then you most likely will just continue on doing it. And that actually, he gave me two challenges for the fitness and for veganism.
Mm.
And I stick to those. Going to the gym, I signed up right away. Like the next day, I signed up to the fitness, to the gym, local gym, and I was doing was trying to do the veganism as well.
That's awesome. That's why, I mean, I haven't mentioned your boyfriend yet, but he's awesome because he's a sack. So I love sack. So
Yes, yes, he is.
so that's, I can see himself. He say, I challenge you. I can see himself saying that because I do
Yes,
the same thing too. I always challenging people.
yes, yeah, it's true. So yeah, like going back to your question, do I see myself with I don't know, like
Mhm.
or us going back to eating meat?
Right.
Sometimes we make joke about it. I'll be like, oh, do you want me to buy meat or something? And he's like, no, if you want, you go ahead. I'm not. But yeah, he's like, you do you. If you want, I don't care if you want to go back and eat the eggs and fish and whatever. But no, he knows better that I'm definitely happy where I am at.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
It really changed a lot. It changed a lot, and
Yeah.
um, just like actually, I wanted to touch on that part right now. Recently, my mother got diagnosed with
Hmm.
diabetes,
Hmm.
and talking to my family was so hard about the vegan, veganism, plant-based, and how to eat properly, and trying to give them a list of foods that are available over there, what they can
Right.
eat. And yeah, and my mom at that point, when she found out, she reached out to me and she was like, you know what, you're right, diabetes is not a disease, it's a lifestyle. I
Mm.
said, yes, mom, yes, it is. And so now we're working on it.
That's great. Now that you say that, I for me it's tough because none of my direct family members are vegan, right? And that's something that I always been trying to I won't say push in within my family to make better choices, especially because my parents are getting older. A lot of diseases are starting to come out, and I know that a lot of these things can be minimized and even cured by changing their diet. And but they just don't listen to me because I'm not a doctor, and do not want to put
Exactly.
I don't want to put a paradigm in my thought process. But I've been dealing with this for a while, so I've been trying to use different approach. Maybe maybe I need to have a little bit more of a different understanding with this. But I try to use different approach to promote veganism. I was very pushy at the beginning. I reduced that. Then I focused more on the health aspect. That doesn't seem to work either, and I focus on the ethical aspect, which is what make me vegan. That didn't work either. Okay, so I was trying to see what's the best way. And recently, my dad was in a situation that he needed to go to a doctor, and he was like, "Hey, I was listening to one of your episodes of your podcast, and really made me think about this lifestyle." I'm like, "Dude, I've been telling you this for a minute now. So like, what are you talking about? Let's do this. Like, you have no excuses. You got me. I'm the proven living of this thing, right? And I can give you all the knowledge and I can give you all the guidance that you need. But then he said, no, I need to talk to my doctor. And you see what I'm saying? So, and how do I explain to him that your doctor might not even know squat about, what they're doing, and when it comes to veganism, they just know how to patch stuff. So it's tough for me to kind of go against that.
Yeah, actually same thing, Roger, same thing. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
The same thing. I was telling my mom what it is, and I said I will write you the food list, obviously, low glycemic index foods, carbs, and so on. What you should eat and what you should eliminate. And she was like, yeah, well, they gave us a list too, so I have to speak to my doctor what I should eat and so on. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
There's not really nothing much you can do.
Yeah. I try to lead by example now more than um, push my push my veganism to people, because a lot of people say, oh, vegans are pushy, right? You're trying to push your belief system into us, whatnot. So I try to lead by example, and it makes me happy to know when they say, hey, I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about this, but at the same time, it just stays there, but it doesn't move forward, because the whole concept for them is like, yeah, it sounds good, it's our tradition, or I don't see any doctor saying that you need to do that. However, I had doctors in my podcast interview that I've been plant-based emphasis doctor, and have told that, hey, you guys, you need to go through this plant-based thing, and that's still not good enough. So I don't know, maybe just because one doctor, it's not in a bunch of doctors, but I mean, you just have one doctor saying that plant-based is the way to go. What more validation do you need?
Right.
So you getting the validation from the science too. So that's the one part that sometimes I get frustrated, but I'm not gonna start fighting, because I don't want to see my family members' life being deteriorating, especially my direct family. And of course, at the end of the day, I'm ethical vegan, so I want to also be do this for the animals and for the planet. So at that same point, so I'm gonna keep fighting, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna keep pushing veganism in every way I can, either through podcasts, either through videos, through coaching, whatever the case. Even with my clients get mad at me because when I provide them with a meal plan, my meal plan is vegan. They don't like it. They get pissed off at me, and then
Sure.
and then I'll tell them, hey, you have the option to train with a vegan coach or train with a non-vegan coach. Why would you train with a vegan coach? Then you don't like the fact that the vegan coach is telling you to eat plant based. So it doesn't make sense. So if you want to follow, and the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because I promote veganism, right? And then I'm not gonna not stop doing it just because of y'all. So I want to respect y'all too, but I want you to respect me too. So if you don't like the methodology that we use, then in that sense, you might want to work with somebody that kind of aligns with your belief better. No, it's not, then
Mm.
come ride with us. But anyway, that was a segue to something I was talking about training. But I wanted to now be able to you to tell us a little bit about what's are your passion, and telling us a little bit about what is it that you're coming with soon with competing or anything like that. Can we say something about that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I wanted to compete for the past probably 2 years,
Really?
and yes, I've I'm following all the vegan bodybuilders. I'm just so inspired, and I always wanted to do it, but I always thought that it's probably not my time yet.
Mm,
I need to build more muscle. I need to work more on my own training because I always thought that I'm not enough.
mm.
There's not enough muscle. There's not enough somewhere muscle is not enough. I need to grow more. I don't know. That was my thinking. I
Really?
know. Yes. And I just really decided this year that I was going to do it,
Okay.
and I signed up with a coach. We're working on it.
Hmm.
We're working for the whole year.
Mm.
Um, that was his suggestion. Apparently, it will be better for me to get into a different category next year when I'm 35. Yes. So I'm excited about it, and that's when I want to compete.
Right.
And like going back to the board, that's something I want to have on my board, vision board. I think it's important.
Scratch it out. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
That's happening. That's happening.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So when did you find out that bodybuilding was a passion of yours? And did you have any other passions?
Besides bodybuilding, it
Hmm.
probably will come along with it. I feel like after I compete and all of that, I feel like that's something I would want to do is probably to train people, to help people with fitness and nutrition. And yeah, I feel like I'm getting there, that I will be a pro within my nature of veganism, promoting it and so on. Because like I said, I'm still learning about it myself. Like you mentioned about it earlier, so things you've eaten your first year are completely different from what you're doing now. And
Yeah.
it's really is, it's truly like that. You can read so many books, but you will find your way what you like at the end.
True.
But you need to start somewhere. So that's what something that I would like to help people with, to begin with, to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at training, and when you're looking to get on stage.
It is probably going to be next April, actually.
Wow.
Yes.
So how you feel? How's your prepping going? Did you find it difficult?
No, the prepping is going very well at the moment. I am going to be, I believe, in the building phase, what it's
Hmm.
called, very shortly, in about a couple of months. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what my body can do, or where it can be.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I feel like it's so amazing what
Right.
our body can do.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is mind-boggling. Like the way you can transform your body with the dedication, the training, the practice, all those tangibles, everything, the way you eat. Bodybuilding can be a very rewarding sport, and at the same time can be a very detrimental sport if you don't know how to do it right. Because from us, with the proper coaching, the proper training, you can actually use bodybuilding as a lifestyle and become healthy. For some people, just become unhealthy because they don't eat well, and they deprive themselves from food for a period of time and they crash. So it can be harsh. So, but at the same time, I'm sure you have a good corner, a good support system, it is a very beautiful thing once you get on stage and you represent yourself as a vegan and shows that are fully of like meat or like in my last show there was let's say my category in my last show there were at least three guys out of 15 that I competed with against with or with that were vegan, which is great, right? And one of them, it was
yeah,
me and another guy were trained by the same guy, which is a vegan coach as well. So that's kind of dope.
that's
But
amazing.
overall, there were at least like seven vegans in the show that we knew. And the main judge, one of the main judge of the show, she's vegan too. So it was like we had a lot of vegan representation, which is great. And that lets you know that we're starting to turn more mainstream, right? It's starting to turn more like the veganism is starting to turn more popular now, and it's a lot more athletes doing it too.
It is, yes.
It's a
And
beautiful thing.
veganism overall, I think, becoming popular in a lot of countries. Like even in my hometown,
Yeah.
there is an organic store with non-dairy products and so on,
Mm,
which is pretty cool. When my mom tells me recently, when she was like, "Okay, when you come visit us, we have the store. That's where you can buy your stuff." I was like, "Wow, they didn't have that store a long time ago when I was there." So yeah, no, things are changing, and
yeah.
I'm excited about it. And I want to bring my part, what I can do, bring my part to my country.
Right.
And I have exposure to my people, that
Right.
I want to show it's possible to, and it's better to be healthy, for your health, for everything, for your
True.
life,
True.
for your longevity at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
That's
Yeah.
true. Same way with me. I mean, like when I left, the vegan options were probably like two, if it was vegetarian mostly, right? Because that was
Mhm.
the term back then. But now it's like so common, small businesses, you got big restaurants, you got more, you even got normal or regular franchises or franchise that sell food, or grocery stores selling vegan products now, right? Now the problem is that now we need to educate the people, because people that know about this vegan product or vegan, they're finding stuff, but the ones that are not aware of, or they had no idea that this stuff exists, they don't know what to find or where to start. So the process of education is to start. And I want to be the same thing too, like you said. For me, like I really want to be, I'm going to be, let me put it out there, that number one figure when people think about veganism in my country is going to be me. So
Yeah.
how I'm going to do it, I had no idea. But I'm going to do it somewhere, somehow. And the way I'm visualizing, we're talking about visualization, is it's going to be through the fitness part. For some reason, I'm thinking that that's going to take me to where I want to be. But I
A
want
lot
to
of
be that
times,
main figure. Hmm.
a lot of times we don't need to know how we're gonna get there.
Right.
We just have to have the picture there,
Yeah,
and just take one step at a time.
that's right.
Baby
Yeah.
steps.
I don't know how long it's going to take me either. That's another. See, you don't need to know how ni when. You just need to know what is that you want. What is that vision that you have? And we already have that. You said you want to be number one, win a competition this time. How you going to do it? Well, now you're working step by step, training step by day. You figure that part out. But sometimes some visions, we don't really know how we're going to make it there. So,
It's true. Yes, it's so true.
Sven, this has been awesome. We can continue talking
Yeah,
all day.
I know. It, this was really
I
awesome.
just
Yes.
have one last question for you.
Yeah.
So, what is your legacy? Maybe you give us a little bit of that, but what is your legacy? What is it you want the world to remember you for?
Eventually, I want to be, I think, um,
Mhm.
the legacy of for my country, that I made it to the stage. And to be honest, I'm probably going to be the first one. I didn't do my research, but I don't think there are many, especially vegan bodybuilder from Kazakhstan. Come on. Yes.
Oh,
There's so many opportunities. I always see the opportunity in front of me.
nice. Very, very great.
Yeah.
Very great. That's awesome. But you want to give us your social media so people can like start following you and gonna ask questions, or maybe just
Absolutely. Yes,
yeah.
I'll be happy. Thank you. Yes, my Instagram page is Svetlana underscore Aksan, Aksan. Um, I pretty much post whatever. I just like make people smile. That's my job. Yes.
And you do.
Yes, I like to do that. Really, I do. It makes my heart warm, and when I make people happy.
Very good. Thank you so
Yes.
much. And you do make
Thank
us
you.
smile and you make us laugh. And you're awesome. We appreciate everything you do for veganism, for the movement. Um, I still owe you guys a workout. So whenever I'm in New York, I'll make sure I swing by to
Yes.
Jersey and vice
Oh,
versa.
absolutely.
And vice versa. Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all ever come to Texas, come holler at your boy. If I'm in Canada, come holler at me too over there too. So
We know where
but
to find you.
yeah, exactly. You know where to find me. But yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much, guys. This has been a great episode. I'm gonna put all the description, Svetlana, in the description of the video and the podcast, so you guys can just click it and go straight to her page. She have a TikTok that she does amazing stuff. She can dance too, so she's all funny too. So you should definitely check it out. So, Ben, thank you so much for your time, and yeah, so we'll see you in the next one. Okay,
Thank you very much, Roger.
you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Gracias por escuchar Latino y Vegano, un show donde se habla todo lo relacionado sobre el veganismo entre la comunidad latina. No olviden suscribirse a este podcast, seguirnos en Instagram, Facebook, YouTube y a visitarnos en latinoyvegano.com.